You guys realize that we're not born with any natural talent, skills, or abilities? We're born not knowing how to walk. As a baby, we are literally trying to figure out how to keep our head up, trying to stabilize our neck, at the same time trying to walk, to a point that we get the hang of it, to such a point that we learn how to run, to a point now that people are competing, running back and forth to see who can move the little legs the fastest. It shows that anything that we tend to try our hand at, keep up at it, that we can begin to master it. I believe that none of us are born with a natural talent, skill, or abilities, but we're born with a love towards an activity that is then up to us if we want to go towards that path of mastery. Let's get into today's video. What's up? Another day leveled up. It's your boy Salem, back with another one for you. Today we're going to be talking about why every man must wait his time to be in his prime. The sad thing is us men mature a lot slower than women. Sorry guys. But the great thing about it is that we age like wine. All the time we gonna be in our prime, okay? All of us grew up in a time that there was maybe a girl that we had the hots for. She was our same age, but we just couldn't figure out how to get a real solid chance. She ends up dating the senior, or when you're a senior in high school, she's dating some dude in college. You're never enough. You're the same age, but you're never enough. And you're like, this doesn't make any sense. We're the same age. We have a lot more in common. Doesn't matter. The older guys had a little bit more talent, a little bit more abilities, a little bit more resources, a little bit more closer to their prime than you were. They rather go with that. Why would they be here because you're just a good guy? You're not even close to being in your prime. It sucks to say, but we all had to go through that. I hope you went through that. You don't come out on the streets, sexual market value up in the sky. Nah guy. You gotta work for that. You gotta build yourself up. You gotta hit the gym. You gotta figure out how finances work. You gotta get a good job. You gotta get an education. You gotta figure out how the world works. The world is not readily available to us men, especially when we come right out of the womb. Women, it's a little different, and that's just the nature of things. Girls are in their prime at a younger age. The world is fully vast. It's so vast. All the guys with resources, no matter the age, 30, 40, 50, are gonna come for the younger women in their prime. That's just what it is. That's nature. Us men, we become in our prime at a later age. Even if you are great and you learn how to do something at a young age, you're still not in your prime. There's still some things that you need to figure out. I thought I would have it all figured out by now. There's still so much that I do not know, but what gets me going is that I'm always leveling up. I'm always getting better and better. I want to be at a point where I'm in my mid-30s and I'm in my prime. You got to figure out the timeline, where you want to be, where you are now. Realistically, where are you? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? Always have a 5-year plan. If you were to ask me if I were to be where I am at today, doing what I'm doing now, I would not say that would be the case. I didn't even know a lot of this was possible, but I also didn't know things take time. I've done a lot of jobs. My job history is mainly in the hospitality industry. Being a server, being a chauffeur, being a manager, helping people out manage themselves. I didn't know at the time, but I needed those skills. I was so introverted. My ability and confidence to speak wasn't as sharp as it is today. And those jobs molded me into that person that I had to become that person in order to get what I wanted. And that was money at the end of the day. So I had to figure things out. There's a book called The 48 Laws of Power. The author, Robert Greene, wrote that book when he was in his mid-30s. Up until that time, he was doing a lot of odd jobs. He was a hotel clerk, he was a front desk man, he was an assistant to an author, and all these different jobs. He worked about 50 different jobs. All these jobs weren't his calling, but they allowed him to learn certain skills that made him who he is today. By following his intuition, he never allowed himself to get to a point where he was in worry. His parents were definitely on his back, breathing down his neck, hoping he figured it out. When's he gonna figure it out? And that time eventually came, but he never knew. He just kept following his intuition. There came a point where he was working under this writer as an assistant, and this writer asked him one day, like, do you have an idea for a book? I'm kind of just in a brainstorming session right now, and I kind of need an idea. And he's like, I actually think I do. During his whole time of those odd jobs, those 50 different odd jobs, he kept a journal of just thoughts, and he would observe how people worked and how people rose in hierarchy, to a point that he had so many journals, books and books on how things worked, how people became successful in a certain niche, how someone was able to seduce so-and-so. He just decoded every place he worked at. But he then figured out, let me write a book. I have everything I need to write this book. I didn't even know I was going to write a book, but here I am with the opportunity to, and all the tools to do so. Here I am with YouTube. I started YouTube last year. Didn't really know what direction I wanted to take. I just started this off as a cathartic thing. This was just how I got my thoughts out. I'm living alone. Felt like I could help somebody. I know I'm not the only one with these thoughts. I just start speaking, starts helping people out. It's now at a point where I'm gaining so much traction that I'm like, okay, what can I do with this? How am I going to keep this up? How am I going to actually get all these topics? How am I going to figure out these topics? By following my intuition, I've always been a reader. I've always been one of loving knowledge. And whenever I would find great knowledge, I'd write down some things in like my iPhone notes. To a point last year, I started a small little journal here. And this journal, I'm not sure if you guys could see that here. I have this thing about halfway filled. There's different points, different ideas, different things that stood out to me through my everyday walks, movies I'd watch, books I'd read, that I now have more than 100 different topics that I can now bring to you guys, all because I chose to follow my intuition 2 years ago. I started this book because it's like, when I have kids, when I have grandkids, I want to be able to pass down my wisdom in a little book and be like, if you just keep this on you, these are my thoughts, this is what helped me, I'm sure they could help you. This was just a book to me, to myself, to my future generation. But now I have it all to give to you guys, which is crazy. I can't make this stuff up. Now I have so many topics that I don't worry about what topics I'm gonna bring. I'm just, in my head, just like, how do I want to deliver them? In what way do I want to deliver them? Let me actually get some better camera equipment. Let me actually script this out. Let me actually make sure this is like something entertaining to watch at the same time as it is informational. My point being is that we're always leveling up for the next stage, even if we're not aware of it. But we have to be willing to trust our intuition and be willing to take that risk, knowing things are going to work out. Being patient. We all have our trials and tribulations. It's in every book. It's in every superhero movie. It's in every success story. Everyone is not in their prime when they start. There's so many things we all have to go through in order to get what we need to be successful. It comes at different points for different people. It may be in your early 20s, it may be in your mid, maybe in your 30s, maybe mid 40s, who knows? But do not stop following your intuition. You have to be willing to have that courage to throw yourself out there and know deep down that I am moving in a direction. I do feel called to go this way. I may not know everything, I may not be able to see the full staircase, but I'm going to take the first step. You have to love to endure. You have to love to endure the process. You have to love to endure having the low views on YouTube, having the low subscribers on YouTube, having the low plays on your music, having no dating options, having not all the resources and money that you need at the time, because you know what's eventually coming. You have that faith, that courage, the willingness to keep moving forward, knowing that it'll all pay off. Your time will come. Bruce Wayne did not become Batman until he's 26. Oprah didn't become Oprah until, I don't know. When did Oprah become Oprah? Was she always Oprah? Mark Cuban didn't become a millionaire, acquire the Mavs till he's in his late 30s. Morgan Freeman has been working. Morgan Freeman is in his prime. I only know Morgan Freeman as in his prime, but that's impossible. He's not always been in his prime. Myself, I didn't go into the shoes of Salem until 28. I'm now 29, easing into my prime. Got patience, got a lot of patience. I'm sure there's a path or direction that you want to start moving towards. Start now. Start now, knowing that you will eventually be where you need to be. If someone else has been there, know that you'll be there, but you have to have the patience. You too will be in your prime here soon. Every man has his day. Every dog has its day. Is that the term? Every man's time comes. You too will be in your prime, but you can't just be sitting around waiting for your prime to show up like, I'm supposed to be in my prime at this time, you know? I don't know. Is it prime time? Is it prime time? It doesn't just come. You have to be willing to put in the steps, the effort. Take that step, learn to walk, begin to run, then you'll be in your prime. Then you could reap the benefits. Then you could really start enjoying life once you're in your prime. But get there first. Get there first. If this video resonated with you guys, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop more content. Until next time, guys, just know a belief may be comforting, but only through true experience could be liberating. Grant yourself permission to level up, and until next time, it's your boy Salem. I'm out.